What up? This is Grammy Award winning record producer and recording artist Fanatic, aka Billy Lennox, and you are watching Amplified Exposure Live with Teresa B. Alright? Peace.
Good evening, Facebook and Roku and YouTube and all the other sites that we are connected to. This is your girl, Teresa B, and I am on here live and direct on Amplified Exposure Live. And today I have my wonderful guest. Lord, I hope I don't start crying. I have members of the Whispers, Mr. Walter Scott and Mr. Scotty Scott came to visit me today. And they came on my show today, not just because they're the legendary Whispers and they're dope like that, but they came on my show today because they like me. So for those of you that are out there in Roku land, TV land, La La land, listen up. We'll be here maybe about 30 minutes or more, and we're going to hear all about their wonderful career and all the wonderful places they have been. Welcome to my show.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you for having us.
Boy, if I start crying, don't y'all laugh at me, okay?
No.
Thank you so much for being here. So how are you all today? I know that one of your members was supposed to come, but he had a family emergency. Right. So, I'll take half of your whole, it don't matter. You never show up as long as you're part of the Whispers. So tell us, I know the original group members were Nicholas Caldwell, Wallace Scott, Marcus Hudson, Lavelle, is that how you say his name?
That's right.
Lavelle Degree, Gordy Hammond, and Mr. Walter Scott, right?
That's it.
All right. Rest in peace to Nicholas Caldwell. Is he the only member that is deceased?
No, Marcus also.
Oh, Marcus is also deceased. Okay, so rest in peace to Nicholas and Marcus. They were the original members, correct?
That's correct.
That's correct.
Correct. And you are originally from Fort Worth, Texas.
Well, Scotty and I were born in Fort Worth, but the group started in Los Angeles. We were brought up, I guess, raised in LA since we were very young. So.
Oh, okay. Okay. And how was that like growing up in LA at that time?
Oh, LA is LA. We didn't know about Hollywood or Hollyweird. We grew up in the projects, a place called Jordan Downs Projects in Los Angeles. Watts, you've heard of Watts, right?
Yes, I've heard of Watts.
That's where we came from. Brought up in Watts, watched the Watts riots take place. And that's our history, which is kind of, landed the way we ended up doing our music based on, some messages.
Okay. It's Black History Month. We need to learn all about it. It's Black History Month.
Right.
So as the legendary Whispers, when did it start? Did you start as teenagers or were you adults when you came to the stage? How did it start?
Well, it started when we were teenagers in junior high school, played a lot of, talent shows around Watts, dealing with the radio stations like most young acts back in those days. And we were just trying to be successful, but it all started right there in LA, California. And we did a lot of Hunter Hancock radio shows. He was the local disc jockey in the community, and he held a lot of talent shows. We gone on all the talent shows. We pretty much won all the talent shows with just the two of us, because when we started out, we were like the Scott twins.
Okay.
And that's where it all started. And, we would enter the talent shows and try to win them. The next thing you know, we went to the club circuit.
Okay. And so when did the other group members come in?
Well, that started while we were doing a talent show. We were entered into talent show as the Scott twins, and Marcus, Nicholas, and Gordy were the Eden Trio, and they were doing their act as a trio, doing our act as twins. But while we were waiting to go on, this is back in the 60s when the Temptations was big. We started, harmonizing backstage, and we said, you know what? After this talent show is over, why don't we form a 5-man group, and so we can do like everybody else. And that's basically how the Whispers got started. That's how the name the Whispers came about from that talent show.
Okay. And who was management at that time?
No man.
No manager.
No, we were our own manager.
Okay.
We were lucky somebody. We would glad to have somebody come along to be it, but at that time, it was just the 5 of us. In fact, we wasn't even called the Whispers. We was just a singing group. It was the Scott Twins and the Eden Trio. They became one, but we didn't pick a name until Gordy, who was with another group, took us to a record label, and we were trying to get a record deal as a singing group, and he liked our sound. He said, "Hey, you guys sound so smooth, almost like a whisper. Why don't we call you the Whispers?" His name was Lou Burdell. We said, "Mr. Burdell, if you give us this record deal, you can call us whatever you like." And that's how the Whispers came about.
Okay, so the Whispers came about because you were sounding like a whisper.
That's exactly
pretty much.
Yes.
Okay, so I have noted that your very first recording, well, your very first hit song. Let me see if I can find it. Have it in my notes somewhere. Where your very first single, it was called "It Only Hurts."
Yes.
For a while. How did that? I've never heard that one. How did that one go?
Nobody else ever heard it either. Our parents, our family members.
You know what? I'll tell you this. I'm glad you haven't heard it. Because the title of the song was our very first recording, and it was called "It Only Hurts for a Little While." But it hurt me for years because I hated it. So, but it is what it is. And at the time, we didn't really know the difference. I never did like the song, but that was the first recording that we had. I'm trying to think. It was written by a man by the name of, I remember his last name was Beal or something like that. But we went in and recorded it for Dory Records, and it did what you might say, all right. And from that point on, we went to record other stuff. When Nicholas Caldwell got into the start to write stuff, that's when it changed. That's when we started doing a little better material.
Okay. And so the next song after that was, and this was a hit, "Time Will Come."
Wow.
Time will come.
Yeah, you do your homework.
I did my homework. That's what I'm talking about.
You really did.
"Time Will Come" was what you call a regional hit. It really wasn't. It wasn't statewide. It wasn't all over, but it was a regional hit and got our name out there pretty much. When we say hit, we're not talking about a million seller or it didn't go gold or platinum like that, but it got our name out there. People, kind of knew what we were doing on a regional basis. We weren't known in New York and Chicago, but we were known on the West Coast.
Okay. And so West Coast took you to the rest of the world. And then what did you do after that? Once that song came out, did you start touring, or were people asking you to come sing?
No, I think after that, the first record that really got us, I must say, really noticed when we actually said we were going to go tour was a song called "Seems Like I Gotta Do Wrong." That was the first charted record, as I remember, that we had that kind of put us on the map. And that was about you probably way too young to remember the Watts riots, but that's what the song was about. And it reminds us of what really goes on today. You listen to the title and you said, "Seems like I got to do wrong before they notice me." It's because even way back then, Black people was being treated kind of like they are today, in a bad situation, bad intentions. And we've always been a group that tried to put the message, whatever was going on at the time. The song that we have out now is kind of in that same vein. It was dealing with the same situation, like the George Floyd thing. It was happening way back then. Mm-hmm. So this is not the first time we've actually come across, that kind of situation. But I would say that would be the first song that really hit the charts for us and sort of kicked us on our way.
Okay, awesome. So you got kicked on your way. And what was your very first concert after that?
Oh, we played the first concert we did beyond the talent shows was at a place called the Palladium in Hollywood, California. I mean, we were very excited, young guys from Watts. and the Palladium was in Hollywood. So as far that was big time for us.
Yeah, hold on, Mr. Walter. Mr. Scotty, if you can hear me, you can't have on Facebook and your computer because it'll give an echo. You can only have on one system. So that's why you're hearing, that's why you're hearing that sound.
Oh, okay. So I didn't even know I had what do I need to do?
Just keep on one. Just keep on the one that you're looking in the screen, but the other one, turn that one off because that one it'll keep.
Where's the other one? I'm gonna probably have to. Is it okay for me to get my wife and let her do what needs to be done?
Well, it stopped. It stopped. So whatever you did, you helped it out. So I think you're okay. Yeah,
I think I had on both earphones. I took out one.
Okay, cool. Yeah, that'll work. But whenever you hear it, you know to pull away because it's something with the headphones.
Yeah, I got you. Okay.
Yeah. I'm sorry, Mr. Walter. What were you saying?
Well, I said, the first big talent show, big concert that we did was at a place called the Palladium in Hollywood. And actually, we thought we had died and gone to heaven. We were in Hollywood, and Hollywood, as far as from Hollywood to Watts, even though it's in the same city, that's 1,000 miles away as far as we were concerned. But like Scotty said, that kind of put us on the map, got our name out there, and people kind of known what we were known for, and that is.
I got both going, and I can only have one.
Yeah, Scotty.
He gonna get it together. You got it, Mr. Scotty. You good?
Okay, you good?
I'm okay now.
Yes, sir.
Okay, go. She said I'm okay now.
Yeah.
Good. I'm sorry.
You're fine.
Yeah. So as I was saying, it kind of got us out there on a regional basis. But what really happened is that we were kind of known, that group, the Whispers, we were known for making message music. It was like, seems like I got to do wrong was perfect for the time. And like Scotty was saying, it kind of, fast forward almost 50 years later with this new song called How Long. Mm-hmm. It's the same kind of message music. But what we can't believe is that 50 years later, we're still doing the same thing. That's what's disgusting.
Yeah.
Here we are still, we asking these things, why is it that black people still being mistreated? You know what I'm saying? And so we got to come with a song that asks the question of how long do we have to keep putting up with this kind of stuff? Hopefully we'll get it right one day.
Right. 50 years later, and we're still where we started.
Same thing.
Still happening.
Yeah. Yeah. I think if you can tell Ms. Scott that if you have like another cell phone or something around, like you can only have it on one item. So if there's a cell phone or another computer on, it'll echo.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, you took the plugs away completely. Maybe that'll help it.
Okay. Tell her I said thank you. So I'm gonna be honest with y'all. All the years that I have been watching you all perform, I never could tell y'all apart. This is the first time that I could actually say who is who, because when seeing you on TV, I was like, okay, which one is that? Wait a minute, which one is that? But Mr. Walter, you're actually darker than Mr. Scotty, and I never noticed that before.
Yeah, it depends, and I decided to cut all my hair off.
Right.
So you know the difference now, don't you?
Yeah, I can tell now. I can really tell now.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I have noted that you all had made the UK top 10, the US top 10 in pop entry, and you also created My Brother's Keeper album by the two of you when the group kind of broke off for a little bit. Tell me something about making that countdown and what a difference it made for the group.
Well, that would have to go. The album called My Brother's Keeper really was produced by Nicholas Caldwell, the late that you mentioned earlier. Mm-hmm. Nicholas and Lavelle produced the album on Scotty and I. We had reached a point to where we could have a production company. And the first artist on our production company was Walter and Scotty. So we decided to do an album on the two of us. It was called My Brother's Keeper. But in fact, we were kind of disappointed because people thought that we were breaking up. It's funny how it's all mixed up. The word went out that you heard the Whispers and broke up. It's just Walt and Scotty now. That was the biggest lie that ever been told. But it was an album produced by the two of them. It was called My Brother's Keeper, and we had some great songs on that album. that you've listened to and people are still listening to today. We're very proud of that album, but it was just a project featuring me and Scotty.
Okay. Yeah, that rumor was going around that you guys broke up, and my family members was like, "What? Wait a minute, what happened?"
Yeah,
you know how we do with gossip. We were like, "Wait a minute." It probably helped spread a little bit. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
So you had a song called "Contagious," and it made #1. Tell me about that.
You know what? See, you talking about relearning history. And it was Contagious was written by, produced by Midnight Star, written by Reggie Calloway and his brother. And you're right, that was one of the first up tempo, and this was before songs like "And the Beat" and "Rock" and all that. But it was produced by Midnight Star. The Calloway brothers wrote it, and it was a big hit for it, and it led us right into when we finally got to the big one, which was "And the Beat."
Yeah.
And it goes on,
Yeah. So you didn't know that song was #1?
No.
Yeah. No, I knew. Well, we knew it was #1, but you know what? #1, it didn't become as big as "And the Beat" and "Rock Steady." It was in fact, if you remember, it was right after the disco era kind of came and gone, and we had Contagious trying to really do what was happening right then. And you're right. Our surprise, it went to #1. We were very happy with it, But little did we know we had a bigger hit to come, and we were happy about that.
Yeah, very happy about that, I'm sure. So all I'm envisioning right now is my dad driving around with his 8 cassette tape in the car, and he's booming your music. And the song that I heard over and over and over again was Olivia, Lost and Turned Out.
Yeah.
What in the world? Who wrote those lyrics?
Yeah, see, that was another one of those message songs. You know what I want you to tell your dad? We so much appreciate him, because before we had the 2 big hits, your dad was listening to the songs that really made. We were a balladeer kind of group, and Olivia, Lost and Turned Out, once again, is a true story. The young man, his name is Wayne Bell. He's from Seattle, Washington, and their family had one of his nieces was on the streets as a prostitute, and they were doing everything that they could to try to get her back in the family, away from her pimp. So her uncle wrote a song about her called "Olivia, Lost and Turned Out." And
that sounds like a book title.
I mean, isn't that something? And he came, and in those days, you sit down at the piano and submit the song. And when he told us, he said, "Fellas, this is a true story. I want you to sing and to help my niece get off the street." And little did we know, I mean, that's one of the biggest songs that we ever had.
Yeah,
but it's a true story.
Yeah.
Wow. And is Olivia still alive? Is she still alive?
Still alive. Yeah. No longer on the streets.
Wow. Do you think that song made a real change or difference in her life?
Oh, absolutely. They were elated. When the song became big, I mean, there's a lot of stories attached to this song, but when they got her off the street, the Bell family, that was her uncle who wrote the song, they were elated because of the song. She decided to, and again, she was very young, got kind of ripped off at the age of 16 and was walking the streets of Seattle, and they couldn't do anything with her. Song came out, and hey, next thing you know, they got her off the street, and they were happy as all get out. Absolutely.
I know when she heard it on the radio, she was like, "That's me. That's me."
Yeah, blew her mind. Yeah, absolutely.
Exactly right.
So you also had hits like "Lady," "Keep on Loving Me," one of my favorites, "It's a Love Thing."
Yeah.
And the Beat Goes On, "Rock Steady," one of my other favorites. "Let's Go All the Way."
Oh yeah.
Are you going my way?
Yes.
And the one that used to put me to sleep every night, "Say Yes."
Like I was telling you, isn't that amazing? All the songs that you named, most of them were ballads and mid-tempo before they got to Rock Steady and "The Beat Goes On." Your dad and people like him and the rest of our fans, they knew the Whispers as a balladeer group. "Say Yes," that was bigger than, it didn't sell like "And the Beat" and "Rock," but it was every bit as big as Rock Steady and "The Beat Goes On." Yet right today, if you see us in concert and we don't sing "Say Yes," we're gonna get rocks thrown at us.
Yeah, well, listen, I can understand because that was a really, really good song.
And
Do you think?
you know what? We need to talk about the guy that wrote that song because Nicholas Caldwell, the late great Nicholas Caldwell, he not only wrote "Lady," "Say Yes," "Are You Going," all those songs you just named, all of the big ballads that we had was written by Nicholas Caldwell. He's the one that laid the groundwork and the path that took us to where we later became these songs like what you're talking about, they became household names.
Okay. So you started off with those ballads, and then the next thing you knew, you started doing this up-tempo music. And before I knew it, y'all was sliding and gliding across the stage. I watched the video where y'all looked like y'all was flying to the other side of the stage. I was like, wait a minute. How did they go from the smooth slide to the flying across the stage? Like, did you have like several choreographers, or did you make up your own steps?
No, but once again, Nicholas Caldwell was the choreographer. But what I want to tell you about that is that we tell young people all the time, never give up on your dreams, because while we were doing the ballads, "Say Yes," "Lady," "Are You Going My Way," lo and behold, we did a lot of ballads, but the two biggest songs that we ever had in our life were up-tempos. And when we got these up-tempos, we had to learn how to adjust to doing an up-tempo because we were known as a balladeer group.
Right.
And Nicholas, to his credit, who did all of our choreography, the only one, we lost Nick in 2016, by the way. But he's the one that really, he said, fellas, we got this big hit called "And the Beat Goes On," and we got to work up to be worthy of this hit. We got to learn how to put on a show because we were used to singing ballads. Mm-hmm. And but it goes to show you, we never knew. I mean, these were great songs, but here comes these two up-tempos, and they sold between the two of them probably quadruple what all the ballads sold in one shot.
Wow. Was it an adjustment from moving side to side to flying across the stage? Like, did you have some ankles or knees that was hurting? How did that work for you?
Well, you know what people didn't know, I can understand why you wouldn't know this. When we first started, we always pretty much had it sounds braggadocious, I don't mean for it to. We had a pretty good act, and the act was based on a lot of dancing and splits and jumping, the stuff that you were talking about. We did a lot of that. That's kind of what kept us alive, you know. But it's only once when we got the hits, we sort of calmed down and we stopped doing a lot of that sliding and jumping and flying and all of what you do. But originally, that's really what we were doing. You know, we were like a gymnastic group because we loved to get on the floor and do splits, and we did all of that. And what calmed that down was your "Say Yes," and "Lady," "Are You Going My Way." So later on, when you combine the two, we ended up having a pretty good act.
Okay. So would I be asking for too much if I just asked you to sing one line or two of "Say Yes"? Would I be asking for too much?
You mean that part that says, "Have you ever been kissed from head to toe"? That's what you're talking about. Huh?
Mm-hmm. That's what I'm talking about. Mm-hmm. Keep going.
You know what? Let me tell you what we say on our concert. You know, most people say that those are very explicit lyrics, but that by far is the most popular song that we ever had, which tells you a lot about our audience. You know, that's our biggest song. Just say yes.
I can see all them little hot tail women out there throwing them panties up in the air. Like, how did y'all handle all of that?
Oh wow! I don't know. I can't answer that one.
That's an ancient Chinese secret.
Oh, I'm trying to tell you.
Because I mean, your songs are so. I can't even put it into words how when you heard one of your songs, how it would make you feel. Like it really made you feel like you was in love with that person and you just wanted to just glide and dance with that person all day while listening to that song. And I wish we had more music like yours out currently, because everything has to have with these leased beats and all these crazy tracks that people put to songs. Like there's nothing like music like you that you all have displayed. I'm trying to look now. I'm getting tongue tied. Blah blah blah. The songs that you all have displayed. So I do appreciate all your hard work and being in the industry for all these years. Hasn't it been like over 50 years or so?
54 years.
54 years in the industry. Wow.
And we are so proud of that. If you'd have told me we were going to be around 54 years later, we'd have laughed at you and said something's wrong with you. But the good Lord is great. And here we are 50 years later, still here. And he's allowed us to be here. We still can sing. So we just feel like we're blessed.
Yes, yes. So let me see what other song I can get a line from. Look at my list. Oh, Lady. What about Lady?
Lady, that's Nicholas Caldwell again.
That was his first hit.
Okay. Keep on Loving Me.
Oh wow.
Leon Silvers, the guy that the beat goes on. And that was his song. And I don't know if you're familiar with the whole Solar family, which is where we came from. He came from a group called Dynasty, and they wrote, they had their own hit, but Leon Silvers wrote Keep On Loving Me. And that was his kind of groove into like the And the Beat Goes On kind of thing, you know?
Okay. Wait, I'm gonna find the song that y'all sung. Hold on. Let me see. Let's Go All the Way.
Oh, yeah, that was one of my favorites. Yeah, written by well, you would know these people, but his name was Y.Y. Watson. He was a guitar player. And he brought the song to us, and I loved it. To this day, it's one of my favorites. Yeah,
the minute he had a line in there and said, let's take a ride to Santa Monica. You bring the wine and I'll bring my guitar. Yeah, when we heard that, we said, oh yeah, we got to record this song. No question about it. Let's go all the way. Yeah.
You gonna sing a little bit? Just a little bit?
No. Let's take a ride to Santa Monica. You bring the wine and I'll bring my guitar. Lie on the beach and look up at the stars.
We don't want to get this started.
See, I knew Mr. Scotty was going to join in if you gave me more than one line. I knew it.
That's great news, isn't it? You're right. We came from a generation where lyrics mean everything. You got to be saying something. And more than that, before we had the two And the Beat rock steadies, it was all about, like you said today, it's a little bit more graphic. We came from the generation where it was romance oriented. You know, it was about love and romance, respect for this beautiful lady that I'm with, respect for my mother, respect for my sister. That's kind of the generation that we came from. And lo and behold, I believe in my heart, that's why we're still here 50 years later, because of that.
Well, Mr. Walter, let me tell you, now that I'm going down memory lane, I'm about to go download these songs, listen to them again, and I'm single, so you know I'm playing for my next boyfriend, okay?
Because in line, don't you? I know you.
Yeah, I'm ready. Look, I got a whole list for him. He don't even know. He ain't even ready for this. So, I so appreciate you all coming on my show today. This has been an honor, a blessing, and a privilege. Like I have always wanted to meet you all. So I thank you again. I'm gonna see if for some reason my comments are not working. Let me see if there's some comments on.
Well, Teresa B, let me say this before we leave. We want you for giving us your platform to talk about our music. We don't take this for granted. Right. We appreciate it. Thank you so much for having us on. We didn't know we was gonna run into this beautiful young 50-year-old. I can't believe you're 50, but that's what you said.
I don't know if I'm buying that either.
Yeah, I don't know.
Well,
but
I'm gonna see. Well, don't age me just yet. I'm gonna be 50 February 26th. Not just yet. Give me my extra weeks before we say 50. But yes, and I will actually send you a picture of my license. Okay.
All right.
Let me see. So we have somebody. They said, "Hey, my boys, the Whisperers. Teresa, tell them Mother Agnes said, hey, she's actually one of the actors in my play." Paula, Paula Lacewell said hello from Durham, North Carolina.
Oh, wonderful. Yeah.
Herb Middleton, he's a producer that used to work with Puff Daddy and some other greats. He said hello.
Absolutely.
He said,
tell all of you, love every one of them, and thanks for being Whisper fans.
They said, thanks for being Whisper fans. My auntie, I told you, didn't I tell you my auntie was going to come on here? My auntie said, I was listening way back then too. Always loved your sound.
Thank you.
Teresa Ford said, I love you guys.
Thank you.
And Janice had a question. She said, was Nicholas educated as a writer or did it come naturally for him?
Oh, it came naturally. He was a writer and an artist. He could draw even better than he could write. He's just a super talented guy. No question. And a choreographer. Yeah.
Wow. Laura D gave 5 hearts. My aunt, she gonna keep going on. No, my aunt, the only one talking right now. She said your lyrics were and are so much appreciated. Then she said, that says that for other people. What Precious Barton says, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Laura D says, God bless you both. Continue to sing and be beautiful.
Oh, that's so nice.
God bless
you. Teresa Ford said, love y'all.
Love her back.
And then Paula Lacewell said, thank you, Teresa B, for this show. And Teresa Ford, which is an actress, said, I am a singer too.
Oh, wonderful.
You see how people trying to put a little plug in? You see what they do? And then Precious Barton says, used to clean the house with your music. Thank you so much. And thanks to my mom.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you so much.
So we really, really honor and appreciate you. You guys are truly legends. I'm so blessed that you have come on today. I'm going to leave out with, let me see what video I'm going to play. Because you know I got about 3 videos saved over here.
Yeah, it don't matter.
I'm going to put Rock Steady.
That'll work.
We're going to go out with Rock Steady. Y'all ready?
All right.
All right. Have a good one. This is The Whispers, y'all.
See
exclusively on Teresa B Show. Whoop, whoop.